Hello everyone. I would like to introduce my first miniature kit, which is available on my Facebook page, and pretty soon it'll be on Etsy. It consists of 2 pages of miniature books that can be duplicated depending on how thick you want your journal to be, 1 page of teeny tiny ephemera, 4 page with some covers, and 1 page with 4 tiny envelopes. If you use only 1 page of the pages, your little journal will fit into this little envelope. I created this template 5 years ago to quickly make lots of miniature books fast for my daughter's market day. I will show that process a little bit later. Today, however, we're going to make a realistic miniature junk journal. First, we're going to be preparing the cover. It has some folding lines, but you can measure it as I do to make sure it fits your pages. Next, cut the pages out in vertical lines, then the individual pages. I also cut some pages from a vintage dictionary that had really tiny font, and also some pages from vellum. Well, actually it's tracing paper, but yeah, I call it vellum. I lost that part of the recording unfortunately, but I just measured the pages so that they are the same size and folded them in half. I then paste the little pages back to back to ensure that they have prints on both sides, and then fold them in half to create my little signatures. I also cut out the tiny ephemera. This took ages and I didn't film it. It's just me cutting. It's very boring. I couldn't wait to put the tiny specimen windows together and see if they would work. I did not test any of these beforehand and sort of just hoped that it would work out when I stick them together. My battery was flat and I missed recording making the yellow butterfly, but you can see the pink butterfly that I made. The pink butterfly came out a little skew, but it's a junk journal, so I don't mind the imperfections. It was a lot of fun to put the little pockets and tags and all of the little ephemera that I made inside the little journal. So here I am just putting it together, putting in the pockets and then waiting for them to dry so that I can start the binding. I created some extras by making ruffles with ribbon. Depending on the width that you need, I cut some of the ribbons in half and then some of them in quarters. I didn't film this. If you want to see how I made it, let me know in the comments and I can create a separate video. I also looked for some lace with very tiny trim and I cut some pieces to add to my page edges. I also seem to have lost the footage of me putting together the signatures, but they all have two tiny digitals, a book page and a vellum page, and I made 4 signatures for this journal. I added the ruffles with the glue stick, and as they are a bit bulky, I didn't want them to fall off. The tiny page is very difficult to work with, so I used my attempt at making vintage tape to keep them together. I'm thinking I can always remove it later, but it looked pretty cool, so I left it. You will see later that I stick some more with washi tape. As I kept moving around, these tiny pages were very, very fiddly. After adding some of the ephemera, it is time to bind this little journal. I use the exact method as I do with my normal size journals. I don't know what the stitches are called, but I used 3 holes and some embroidery thread to bind it. I did slow down one of the signatures if you want to take note of how I added the holes using the template. Then we just sew in all the signatures. Excuse my head popping in. I needed a close-up every now and again. On the last signature, I did snap a thread, but I just added in an extra one. The covers are a little bit longer, so you can decide if you want to fold them, cut them off, or create pockets, as I did. I just cut some little arches, stuck them down, and I enforced the spine with a book's page before I started the sewing. And then the pockets covered the white space of the paper, so that worked out great for me. I was so excited I forgot to add the tiny little postcards in the pockets that I made. This little journal is so chunky. I absolutely love how it turned out. now it needs a closure. So I received some wool or yarn, whatever you call it when you are from, in a sort of coordinating color that I received in a recent swap. I stuck it down. I don't like loose closures because I tend to lose them. So all that is left now is to decorate the cover. I used some of the tiny ephemera and a flower from some lace I found. I added some more of the ephemera, still forgetting to add the postcards into the little pockets. And this is my completed journal. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I enjoyed creating it. See you again next time.